free beers, guys, come on, that's not fair. Hey, where are you going? Bring me a couple. One. Guys, that's not fair on the next guest. Guaira and Renfe, naughty. Okay, a new player is born. A new player is born in the entrepreneurial ecosystem and is destined to be a star. So welcome, Tren Lab. It's lovely to have you in the family. You stay here, no beers for you. My God, this is a killer. Stay if you're interested in cybersecurity, because everybody, all of you going to drink those free beers are sois vulnerables, vaya. Cybersecurity is going to affect us all. Does anybody know how much it costs a year? I see roughly, let's say roughly, give me a figure, cybersecurity, a year, in trillion dollars. Anybody? 5? Well, it will reach $6 trillion by 2021. That means it's going to affect 4 billion people by 2020. We are those people, guys. So if you're worried, if you're interested, this talk is your talk. We're having a fireside chat between two people that are experts in the subject. The moderator is the founder and managing member of 1011 Ventures, which is the first venture capital firm to invest in digital security. And his guest is a world-class expert in cybersecurity. She is the CTO, Cloud and AI Security Division at Microsoft. Please, let's welcome Alex Doll and Michal Averman Blumenstick. Welcome. Round of applause, guys. Thank you. Welcome,
Thank you.
Alex. Michal.
Thank you.
All right, a little AC/DC to kick us off. Michal, well, thank you for sharing some thoughts on securing the cloud. Maybe for starters, could you tell us a little bit about your role at Microsoft?
Sure. So I'm Michal Averman Blumenstick, very long name. I'm the Cloud and Artificial Intelligence Security Division CTO in Microsoft, in the global Microsoft. And my role comprises of several parts. First of all, ensure that the Microsoft security technology is ahead of the game. Second, identify new opportunities, new technologies, new direction that will help our customers in order to be more secure, and make sure that we also have all the security solution in Microsoft and all the security solution in the industry are actually brought together in a much better, coherent, and effective way.
So cloud and security, a couple things in your title and two big words. Maybe give us a little drill down. What does cloud actually mean to you and to Microsoft? And then as a follow-up, what does security actually mean to you and Microsoft?
Sure. So first, let's start with the cloud. So cloud is really the new way of doing things. It's give us so much opportunity to everybody, regardless of security. And I'll focus on security later. But cloud traditionally came as a TCO, total cost of ownership reduction, right? Because you get all your infrastructure now in the cloud. You don't have to worry about getting all your hardware and software at home. You leverage the cloud ability to shrink and expand based on your needs. So originally, cloud came up as increasing the efficiency and reducing cost. But cloud is so much more, because we have so much information in the cloud, and the ability to have visibility to so many tenants. It gives us the ability to give much more value to the tenants that use the cloud, and built in what I called crowdsourcing, where you see trends very fast in the cloud, where you see where things are going, and you're able to get all this information and make sure that all the tenants are getting the value of that. That is impossible to do on-premise, definitely not in real time. In the cloud, you can do it in real time. In addition, in the cloud, because it's not just IaaS, infrastructure as a service, you have now PaaS, platform as a service, and containers and functions. Then you get a much bigger level of abstraction. So you can use the cloud as an operating system and get a lot of value from it.
So cloud, it sounds like cloud's part of everything. When do we get to a point in the industry where we sort of don't use the word cloud anymore? It's just the cloud enables everything. It's sort of like data centers or mobile of the past, where when do you think we reach that point, or will we always talk about the cloud as a deployment mode and some of the other things? Or is it just ubiquitous of IS and IT?
Well, I think definitely if you look at the migration to the cloud, it's going exponentially. If a few years ago, there were companies and verticals that were afraid of the cloud, especially about security, which I'll elaborate later, now it's clear that this move is actually accelerating very fast. To tell you that there'll be a point there will be no on-premise, no, I don't think so. I think that some companies, some verticals will want to have on-premise. However, it will never be on-premise only. Even of those that will have, will want to keep their knowledge and information and assets just in their own premise, will work together in a hybrid situation with the cloud.
Hybrid clouds.
Yes, hybrid cloud is the work to go, but the percentage of the data in the cloud will be probably 90 to 95% as opposed to what we have on-prem.
Yep. You touch on SaaS, IaaS, PaaS, some of the segments, and I think a lot of people think of the cloud with file storage was the original use case, and a lot of people know SaaS applications. Share a little bit about what you're seeing in the lower layers, the IaaS and the platform as a service elements of the stack, and you mentioned things like containers.
Right.
How far advanced are we in that area, and where does that go for the world?
So I think people are realizing why we started with IaaS. I mean, the cloud started with IaaS, as I say, just infrastructure as a service. But then we realized, the cloud providers and also the clients, that the cloud can do much more. And then we went into PaaS, platform as a service. But then we continue to do this abstraction, and we give you a solution, and they are in container or in functions, and then as a developer or as an application user, you don't have to worry about how it's implemented. You could just take the greatness of the application. So that's the direction that it's going. Yeah. Of course, IaaS will not disappear, because always there are companies and there are applications that want to use the lower level, but the cloud enables you to use the whole stack based on your needs. So that's why it makes you so much more effective. Yeah.
So quick question, so virtualization was one of the enabling technologies in the data center. You mentioned containers. We see a lot of excitement in that world. I'm sort of curious, do you think containers are bigger or smaller opportunity than virtualization was?
Well, I think that containers is a way, it's sort of the next layer in virtualization. And on top of it, you have functions, which is the next layer. And it will probably continue, because the virtualization, actually I call it abstraction. It's much more than virtualization, where you get the value that you need, and you don't really care how it's implemented. That's really where the direction is. Okay?
Good. Let's talk about security now for a little bit. Things like authentication. What's the future for Microsoft? And in your opinion, where are we going with authentication, authorization? What's Active Directory going to do in this hybrid cloud world that we've just outlined? Okay. And what's the role of AI? Maybe touch on that as well.
So security is much more than authentication. Yes, authentication is very important. And of course, now we are talking about machine learning-based authentication, adaptive authentication, where the authentication is different and customized to the situation and to the person. But this is only one aspect. We are talking about endpoint security. We are talking about hybrid security. And to me, security is a multi-phase, a multi-layer. There is no silver there is no silver bullet solution. And the most important thing in security is to make sure that you have a system that knows to integrate all the signals from the different parts and give you, and leveraging big data and AI, but in a sense, taking all this big data and extracting from it the small information that you have to act on. Because just bombarding you with a lot of big data doesn't do you anyway, because the poor SecOps guy, security operation guys, when they sit and they get a lot of information, what are they doing first? So the intelligence is to make sure that we give them just the right information which is actionable and they can act upon. And to do that, there is a lot of AI in the background.
Yep, so the signal to noise you touched on, security analytics is sort of down this path. There's a lot of venture capital investment going in security analytics. I sort of want, Microsoft has such strong set of data and such strong set of assets in the enterprise. I sort of wonder, where do you think in 3-5 years we're going to get the best signal from? So there's a lot of data, and you touched on we have to sort of parse out signal from the noise of too much data. What are you, in your thoughts or in your research or in your products today on AI, where do you think we're going to get the best sorts of signals?
So I will divide it into two things, okay? So first of all, getting the signals and getting a wide variety of signals, making sure that we process them correctly. And the second thing, after the processing and after the analysis, that we reduce the level of noise, that we reduce the false positive, we reduce the alert fatigue, and we give you just the actionable information. So it's two different things, okay? So first of all, regarding the signals are going to grow because we get signals from, and especially when you are in the cloud, so you get signals from all the vertical of the cloud. You need signals from the operating system, from the network, from the application. But that's not enough because many times information that you have is also very important signal. Let's assume that we can connect you to the HR system. Okay? So for example, if someone is trying to impersonating Alex and my smart authentication knows also to access the HR system and the travel system of the company and know that Alex is actually traveling to Madrid right now, so someone who is actually trying to log in as Alex from his office in California, it cannot be Alex. So the ability to get all the corporate data and smartly leveraging it in the security is essential. And why? I talked a little bit in my keynote this morning about the threats. The threats are becoming much more sophisticated, and the hackers are becoming much more sophisticated, and they are always leveraging every foothold that they can find. So we have to leverage all the data in the world, all the data we can, in order to make our security system much more efficient. And in order to do that, you need a lot of AI, because you need to process it. You need to understand what information is relevant, what is noise, and you need to look at how security professionals are doing their job, and you need to automate it, because you cannot do it now manually. And that's also, again, the role of AI.
So you touched on AI and skills, and I want to sort of transition into the concept of the security skills gap is something that is talked about a lot in the industry. In the US, it's estimated 1.5 million security jobs go unfilled. Where are we going to get the talent? Where is the training going to come from? Is it from other IT areas that are going to learn AI? Where are you going to be hiring people to be doing the kinds of things you need in AI, and your customers to be doing the kinds of things you're doing in AI? That sounds like a whole new world and a whole new set of skills.
Right. So I have two answers for that. First of all, it's not only in AI, it's AI together with security, because just AI is not enough. It's the security expertise, and then how to take it and translate it via AI into automation. Okay? And on top of it, build the systems. So the way I see it, yes, we need to do a lot of education, but we also And again, back to the technology, we have to make sure that our security system are leveraging the knowledge from the humans, but they build it into the systems. So we reduce the number of people, of manual work, and we make sure that only the top level needs to be done by professionals. Because the shortage of professionals, as you said it in absolute numbers, but if you look at relative, it grew 200% only in the last year and a half, the shortage. So if we are not going to replace it by smart systems that do automation, we'll never close the gap.
Long debate in the industry, should we build secure platforms, secure products, or is there the need to have a security standalone industry? I think as a VC that invests, I obviously sort of take the position that we need a standalone security industry. As you think about AI, cloud, and some of the new changes to sort of the IT architecture, what does that do to the debate? Will we ultimately, Microsoft, have to deliver security from inside of the platform, inside of its products, or what's the added role for beyond the platforms themselves, whether it's Microsoft, AWS, a lot of them deliver security controls in the platform, and I think
Correct.
Customers would prefer that a lot of those security controls get delivered on the platform. Yet, on the other hand, there's $10 billion has been invested in security startups. How do you reconcile those two things?
I don't think there is a contradiction. I think that we need both. Okay, so obviously the providers, and I'll talk now just about the cloud and the cloud providers, for example, Amazon, AWS, Google, and others, they must provide security as built-in. But no matter how good job they do, it's not enough, because the application that companies, startups, enterprises, and others are building on top of that infrastructure, they are so dispersed. So we also have to give a solution layer that will enable to augment everything that we do in the infrastructure layer, everything that comes built in the security that is specific to your application. Because everything is customizable now. And one application is not the same as another application. So we must have those solutions that are very smart, that know to analyze your specific application, and to build you on top of the infrastructure the security that you need. Okay? So that's why we need both, and that's why I think that the security industry will continue to grow on top of the infrastructure. And that's, by the way, exactly what Microsoft is doing. We have a lot of core security solutions, but we also build solutions. And obviously, we integrate with other security vendors. And for example, let's look at the field of firewalls. We are not in this field. There are many entrenched leaders. So we worked with them together. What we are doing is leveraging our power in the cloud and AI and making sure that we take all these signals from the different security providers and we integrate it and we analyze it. So instead of showing you all the alerts differently from your 500 security products, we give you one unified picture. And that's the value that Microsoft or AWS, for example, can give.
Yeah. So good segue for these companies that want to work with Microsoft. What's your advice to companies who want to partner with Microsoft, want to help be some of those security solutions, or you got acquired yourself in your career once
Yes.
with Toyota and RSA.
Yeah.
What's your advice to
Toyota,
startups?
I was acquired. I came from a startup. Toyota, we were the first startup in the world actually to apply artificial intelligence to security. That was back in 2006. We were acquired by RSA, and 4 years ago I went to Microsoft.
How does my best startup or someone sitting in the audience get your attention at Microsoft?
Well, first of all, two things. They have to have very interesting technology that we don't currently have, or we currently have, but they do a much better job than us. It has, obviously, to integrate with us. And Microsoft is not only Microsoft only. This is the old Microsoft. We integrate. We also have a lot of Linux. For example, in the cloud, in Azure, Linux is an equal opportunity citizen to Windows. So we are not we are not the old Microsoft, especially in the cloud. So it doesn't have to be in Windows. It can be in Linux as well. Of course, we would like you to have both, but if you're Linux only, in some cases, we'll take you as well. It has to be able to work in a cloud environment, because it has to be multi-tenant. It has to work on the modern cloud architecture, and we will hug you. Just come to us.
Very good. Well, on that note, we'll wrap it up. Thanks for the advice on how to work with Microsoft and their insights in the cloud. Thank you, Michal.
Okay. Thank you, Alex.